Hello, friends. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the all-out assault on hemp in multiple legal jurisdictions. We're going to be recapping NECANN 24, and we'll be talking about a few other events that are coming up really soon. All right, so NECANN 24, if you don't know, NECANN is Illinois' largest cannabis-focused B2B conference. It happens in Schaumburg every year. This was my second year attending as part of the Illinois News Joint team, but I think our fourth year showing up. Definitely an improvement over last year, definitely an expansion. I think last year they had like 2/3 of the booths sold. This year they are completely out. I saw a ton more footprint from all the craft producers, and that was really one of the first things that I noticed was how many craft producers actually had booths, had teams on the floor, had actual setups and stuff. Nez Oregonics was out there, Caviar was out there, even Canna, one of the smaller infuser brands, was out there. So it was great to finally see those people in action. That was one of the biggest takeaways for me this year, was that there's finally some growth to the Illinois market in the shape of all these craft producers. And that kind of gave a reason for all the other folks to come back to the state. That's really what NECANN is about, is all these other businesses trying to sell services to the cannabis industry. And so, during those first couple years, when the cannabis industry was all these giant MSOs that have these systems in place, when you're a giant corporation, you already have all these other things set up and built out. You don't need all these extra businesses. And so why the hell would they come here and spend all this money and set up in Chicago? And so it's good to see those secondary and tertiary businesses finally getting some, their due, a chance, really. That's all it is, a chance to operate in the state. Hemp. That was where a lot of the focus was this year. I talked to a ton of hemp producers, saw my friends from River Bluff, hi DJ, and then met a new hemp producer, Buckbee Farms. We're going to be checking out Buckbee Weed Company, sorry. We're going to be checking out a lot of their products coming up here on the channel pretty soon. But not only them, I met a ton of hemp producers, and a lot of them seemed to be celebrating, that Illinois had not banned hemp, which is coming as part of the hemp regulation bill, as part of the cannabis omnibus. Both of those got tabled. They didn't actually get voted on. They didn't get, destroyed. So they're just sitting there, and they could be taken up in the veto session. But what I see is a much larger trend and something much scarier for hemp, and that's the Farm Bill. You know what the Farm Bill is? It is passed every 5-ish years. This one, we extended it out for another one, got 6 out. But it's the package that funds the Department of Agriculture, the USDA, food stamps as part of the Farm Bill every few years. And so it is a ginormous package. In fact, this one this year is the largest at $1.5 trillion worth of spend. But most importantly to you, I, and all of our friends here in the cannabis world, the 2018 Farm Bill, which was the last one to pass, is what set up and legalized the current consumption hemp market with all the converted cannabinoids, Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta 10, THCO, THCP. The entire hemp market comes out of this. And so when Congress passed the original 2018 Farm Bill, they made a definition of hemp and cannabis. They split them into two things, despite the fact that it's all one plant, cannabis sativa. It's just a very adaptive plant. And anything under 0.3% Delta 9 THC would not be considered cannabis. It would be considered hemp. The thing is that Delta 9 THC does not occur on the plant in large amounts naturally. It occurs as THCA, and then it degrades into Delta 9 THC, which has allowed all of these different companies to flourish, doing all these things. People will say, this is not a loophole, this is a loophole. As much as I want this to be the way that it is, this is not what the Senate intended when they passed this in the original Farm Bill. And so all these companies have poured, essentially this is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry now, all focused on this kind of legal gray area. And so this year's Farm Bill has had an amendment slipped in by Mary Miller of no other, the great state of Illinois, our representative here, not in my district, but a little bit north, has added an amendment called, of course, the Miller Amendment that will essentially remove all this. All all converted cannabinoids are going to go away. And that's not just here. You know, the federal government's doing this action. Illinois has seen its push. The Attorney General in Missouri is investigating Delta 8, Delta 9, all these hemp businesses, and really pushing cannabis consumers and even cannabis professionals away from that industry. I worked at a dispensary over there for a while, and they send me emails. The Department of Health from Missouri sends me emails about the danger of Delta 8 and all these hemp-derived things. Arkansas has passed some laws making it illegal. Kentucky is already, even them who's relying on hemp has passed some laws. So it's not just one front. Hemp producers should admit to themselves right away and plan accordingly. I talk to people who have, their families that rely on these businesses that I think are going to go away pretty damn quick. The Farm Bill will pass in September, October, November, somewhere in there. Hopefully September. We've waited an extra year for Congress to get it done. And then there probably won't be a lot of runway. The Illinois bill had a $10,000, I believe it was $10,000 a day per product civil penalty for operations. So they're not going to go light-handed. And so if you don't have a backup plan out there and you're betting on hemp, just for your own good, consider some other options. I don't want this to be the way that it is. I don't want hemp to go away. Personally, I love the Ed Rosenthal like tomatoes model. I don't think we're ever going to get there. We have to operate in the world of reality and how people are. The government will always consider cannabis to be a vice product. They'll always look at it like guns, alcohol, tobacco. It will always have its own special framework, even once we get it out of the schedule. I want to treat it like a plan, but I don't believe everybody will ever come to that agreement. It's just the way it is. And so people should plan their businesses and their futures around that reality. I really do believe converted cannabinoids are going to go away after this Farm Bill. They're going to suck it up into these legal, regulated state cannabis industries. That's always been the plan. That was the reason that they did the Farm Bill in the first place. They really wanted people to grow hemp and fiber and clothes and shit. They didn't want people to make smokable weed products that would compete with these state regulated markets that they're probably making money off of, I know they are. I know that those states are making a lot of tax revenue off their regulated cannabis markets, and so of course they're going to push people out of this hemp. Should it be this way? No. Is it going to be this way? Yeah, most definitely. So that was kind of the bummer side of NECANN this year. I was talking to so many hemp producers and people that, were honestly, a lot of them were celebrating Illinois' lack of movement on all these hemp bills. But almost nobody I talked to wanted to face the fact that the Farm Bill is coming and it does not look good. What's coming next? We will be at Keefy Canna Fest this weekend in New Haven, Illinois. I've never even heard of New Haven. It's only an hour and a half from my house, but it's a tiny little bitty town right on the Indiana border, right north of the Kentucky border. Honestly interested to see the kind of folks that come in from out of there. I loved Keefy Canna Fest every time I've been, so moving into a new location, a little further south, a little out of the way should be interesting. This is my neck of the woods, though, so I'm really happy to see something this close to us. Southern Illinois needs more cannabis events, and that's something I've constantly talked about since we held ours. It's just we have to get more events down here. If you build it, they will come. So, as part of my big push at NECANN, one thing that I saw was a ton of these craft producers were super happy to see me, and so we hooked up with a bunch of samples this time, starting with Enliven's new batches of cookies. We've reviewed their standard Snickerdoodle chocolate chip peanut butter cookies before. These are ratioed, so these are going to have a 1-to-1 ratio with CBN. There's going to be the Stay Asleep double chocolate chip, probably going to be my favorite. These are the relaxed with CBD, the 1-to-1s. I like a 1-to-1. Lemon sugar cookie though, perfect for the summer, exactly my kind of thing. I also picked up another new offering from Canna. This is going to be their OG Blackberry cart. We checked out their Tropical Trainwreck, the Raspberry Skywalker in our last reviews. I still have some of their gummies I'm going to check out, but we've got another one of their carts. Thank you to the Canna team. It was great to see you all out there too. This one was completely unplanned. I happened to stumble upon the Rove booth when we were wandering around the halls of NECANN this year, and so they hooked me up with one of their full spectrum diamond carts, which is going to be Granddaddy Purple, and then a couple of their Punch and Maui Sativa. These are all going to be distillate-based products, but these are disposables. And I was super happy to see these folks because Rove is ginormous in Missouri. They have a huge footprint. When I worked in the dispensaries over there, Rove, I mean, flies off the shelves. And so it was nice to see them expanding over here into Illinois. Natural expansion right next to each other. And they are contracting with the CNS Harvest label or license that produce the same Dr. C gummies that I've reviewed on the website before. So we'll have those reviews also coming soon. And last, but obviously not least, is the entire line. One of the longest coming reviews I have had. I first heard about Sweet Buzz at the beginning, I mean, almost a year and a half ago. I sampled some of their uninfused versions of these Sweet Sparks last February at the Bud Tender Choice Awards, and I have been waiting to get my hands on the entire line of their products. So we've got their caramel cookie cups, we've got the cookie, the cream cookie, the mint cookie, we've got their Impowder, which is a cannabis infused powder that you can mix into drinks. We've got their, and then of course the Sweet Sparks. These are like M&Ms, but infused. And then, the candy business is hard, and so this has been a long time coming, and I am excited to finally review these. Everything will be coming to Illinois News Joint. If you're going to be out at Keefy Canna Fest, I will see you this weekend. And absolutely thank you for watching. If you are not liked and subscribed, go do all that fun stuff. I'll see you next time. All right, so if you're around Chicago, yeah, like Portillo's is whatever, it's really meh. It's not the best. But if you are not around Chicago, and I am 5.5 hours from Chicago most of the time, Portillo's is awesome. And so this is kind of one of my post-NECANN haunts always, is getting me some Portillo's dogs. But I actually come down to Champaign because it's a little more fresh and convenient. I mean, come on. I mean, cheers.